this is an example of artifact which is neither sexy nor meaningful. So we decided that it's necessary to add virtual elements. And virtual elements means that we decided to interview researchers. So this digital or virtual can contribute to bringing the human dimension to these artifacts and offering better and more efficient explanation how an invention appears and how it is transformed into an innovation. We developed DVD-ROMs and technical supports. I call them masterpiece. It means that you need several hours to see everything. It's like in a book with all the illustration and all the interviews. So we decided to develop short duration videos instead of doing masterpieces. Now we only do pieces used as a whole or as modules in a construction for exhibition, construction for teaching, for lectures, or for website.
So this is where I'm finding my dilemma as a communicator and someone who's trying to engage with the audience and the public. What do we do with these? So I think we need to then, reassess these issues we have about what is aesthetically pleasing or not. Where people are really looking for an emotionally charged and a spectacular experience when they go to museums in their private times. So my question is, how do we then display something like, or do we display something like the cochlear implant and its story within this sort of context? I like to tell science stories, and I have a medical research science background, but I like it to be anchored in the history, and I like to use the arts to bring these stories to life. And I also think that it's important for us, when we have space, to use the space, and I love to use it in a theatrical way. And I think the physical nature of people walking through a space, we have to take that into consideration in that journey that people take. We ask people to use their bodies in ways they don't normally use in a museum. But the museum's role is to contextualise and to inspire. What is this? Where does it fit into the big picture? And why do I care? But there has to be something special about it.
What about personal narratives from patients' experiences? We might just be looking at these things wrong. We might be kind of looking at these kind of big grey boxes and say, oh, they're impossible to understand, they're unsexy. But in fact, perhaps we just kind of, like you say, perhaps they're too contemporaneous to be able to see all the kind of cultural and aesthetic manifestations that in 30 years' time, that will look certainly like an early 21st century device and be of historic interest.
I think the idea of focusing on hearing as the activity as well around the cochlear, what would it mean to walk through different frequencies to make people understand at a visceral level what it is?
What about the deaf culture who do not want a cochlear implant at all? That's another voice entirely.
And I can see a lot of different reasons, but that would, each and every reason would turn the cochlear implant into an entirely different thing. It could be something about addressing the senses. It could be an absolutely wonderful, intriguing show about human enhancement, medicine in the body, for instance.
Is there any possibility of recombination or reconstruction of this kind of, we call metadata, to make it something other than or more than straightforward narratives of scientific knowledge?
Yes, we might want to open up worlds of human experience to do with hearing and hearing loss and into subjectivity and so on, but we might also be interested in the innovation process.
Because we speak as we were kind of representatives of the stage or something. But should we doing, why are we doing, as an author of a book, I never really ask why I write a book. I have something I want to say.
Why have you got all this stuff? You've got this stuff because it's kind of national treasure.
Yeah.
That's why you've got it. It's not that you're intrinsically interested in the cochlea. There's 1,000 organs in the body. You could be interested in any one.